Hello, John Canavan here. Most people know me for the experimental work I've done on solar thermal applications, but I also have an interest in renewable energy as well as anything that helps us become less dependent on big corporations. Today, I'd like to share with you an idea I had for a portable chainsaw sawmill that can be made from a few 2x4s and some lag bolts. You'll need a guide on your saw. To attach the guide, first drill 3 holes at the base of the blade. Don't forget to carve a notch in the guide so the chain can move freely. Now make a cradle to hold a log. The cradle should be adjustable for different size logs and a variety of cuts. Secure the log to the cradle with a shim and a few drywall screws. A good fast chainsaw like a steel with a ripped chain works best. But if you're in a pinch, an inexpensive pull-end chainsaw like mine with a cross-cut chain may be used, although it's a bit slow. Well, it looks like the economy is really in the toilet now. Time to head for the hills, unless you want to wait around for another 20 or 30 years. But before you head for the hills, there's a couple things that you're going to need. One thing is a chainsaw. Now, you probably want to get yourself a better chainsaw than this. This is just a little old pull-end chainsaw I picked up for $100 about 10 years ago. But it still runs. As long as you keep the blade sharp, it's not too bad. You probably want to get a better chainsaw like a Steel or a Hertz-Cavera, or if nothing else, like a Home Light. Chainsaw is a good thing to have in the country. But there's something else that's pretty nice too, that you might want to get into, and that's building your own sawmill. Now, a sawmill, the kind of sawmill that I'd eventually like to make would be run on a bandsaw, but all the attachments and equipment that go with it probably cost about $5 grand. So I don't have $5 grand right now, so I had this idea for a chainsaw you can build for about $10. Well, I don't know, maybe $11. Anyway, all right, so the first thing you're going to need is a chainsaw. So here we have our chainsaw. But if you're going to, now if you cross-cut a log, it's not too hard with the chainsaw. But if you want to rip a log, it gets a little complicated. So that's the thing I want to talk about today. So the first thing you're going to need is a chainsaw, and then you're going to need a support. So we're going to attach a support to this chainsaw, and you're going to have to drill a couple holes right in the blade, right around here. Okay, now it's not easy. This is a hardened steel, so you might go through a few bits, or you might have to sharpen your bits a few times to get through, but you can do it. I'm using 1/4 inch lag bolts to bolt my chainsaw to this this guide. Okay, so line it up with the holes. You're going to have to cut a couple grooves. Yeah, sorry, I guess you can't see that. All right, so we're going to attach this guide to the chainsaw. All right, so we're going to put some lag bolts, 3 lag bolts. So it's like a triangular support. 2 lag bolts are a little longer, and this is going to go right into a 2x4. Okay, we got our chainsaw all set up. We got our guide support right on the chainsaw. Now we need something to hold the log in place and something to rest this guide against. Now that's the job of the actual sawmill. So this is the this is the portable sawmill that I have designed. Looks like this. So you just set this on top of a tabletop, and then you'd screw it down so it doesn't slide around on you. Okay? So you can make this sawmill basket any size you like. This is just designed to fit right in here like that. And okay, this is a very small one. So we have two sizes. This is one size. And this is something a little bigger. This is about 8 inches in diameter. Okay. So you can see this one. This basket will also accommodate this one. Now, okay, so these are a couple lifts. Let's take a look. The lifts just slide in there like this. We're going to start off with just a small log. So we have this other support that goes in here if the log is really small. So that'll pick it up a little higher so we can make our first cut. Okay, our log support jig has been secured to our table, but now what we need is a log. So here's our log. This is just a small log just to test our jig, our log support jig. Does that sound like a good name? A log support jig. I like it. Okay. Let's use that. Okay, so we have our chainsaw already. Let's start our chainsaw up and we'll get this moving. This is our first cut. Now we want to cut a piece of lumber that will be approximately 1.25 inches thick. Next thing, we'll tackle the larger log and see how that goes. Probably a little slower. Now our next log is going to be a little more of a challenge. So the first thing we have to do is set up our jig so it can accommodate a larger log. So we'll take off these stops here. This one. And also this one, and this one. Okay, so now you can see we can set the log down in this basket or jig. We'll call it a sawmill jig. A portable sawmill jig. Almost sounds like a contradiction in terms. A sawmill. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so we put our log in like this. Okay. Now, you see how high the log sticks up, so if we want to cut that, okay. So if I'm going to cut this, I'm going to be cutting the log in half. I don't want to do that. I want to cut it up a little higher. So we have to put these, I don't know, call them lifts. Okay, we have our next log ready to go. So first thing we're going to do is just put it in our cradle. You like that name, cradle? Maybe that's a good name for this, a cradle. Back to the cradle. Fairly heavy log, I don't think it's going to go anyplace. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is just lop off the top section like this. Okay, we want to get down into the hardwood. That's where the valuable wood is. Okay, so let's give it a try. Get it started. Okay, that's our first piece. This doesn't have too much value. Maybe you can find some value for a piece like that. But the next thing we want to do is we're going to take these I need names for these things. lifts or upper guides. Okay, so take these two off. Okay, now it's all set up to cut our next slab. All right, ready to go? Okay, let's do it. Okay, whoo! Now the next piece is a little tricky. What we have to do is we have to raise this log up. We put these in. Then I can put our log on top of those. Okay, there's our next piece. There you go. Not too bad, huh? I know there's got to be an easier way, but maybe you'll come up with it.
Everyone's a loser when there's nothing left to win. You vote for your man and I'll vote for him. Doesn't really matter 'cause nothing's gonna change. It's just another face on the TV to blame. Well, that's just politics. At least that's what they say. But the way this country's heading, there's got to be a better way. Congress has agendas and the president has his, but the only one who gets ahead is the pharmaceutical biz. Lawyers and companies that represent our health are choking our economy and hoarding all the wealth. Well, that's America. At least that's what they say. But the way this country's heading, there's got to be a better way. I'm certainly not always right and I don't know my left. Who's coming down the middle is responsible for theft. Thievery and the highest for the votes that could have been. Look how deep the water is in the pool that we fell in. Well, that's just politics. At least that's what they say. And the way this country's heading, there's got to be a better way. With politics for hire and the presidency for sale, one nation under God, lift up your right hand and hail. Say goodbye to anyone who actually could lead. The public only wants to see a pretty face succeed. Well, that's America. At least that's what they say. But the way this country's heading, there's got to be a better way. Unions taking money, raping laws so out of date. When everybody gets a piece, there's nothing on the plate. Taxes pushing elderly out of house and home. Can't you hear the IRS tear the skin right off your bone? Well, that's our government. At least that's what they say. But the way this country's heading, there's got to be a better way.